Hello and welcome to the Bible Talk here at St Paul's Cathedral, home church for Anglicans in the Diocese of Melbourne and Geelong. Today, once again, I'm joined by our Chief Props Officer, also our Dean, Andreas. Hello, Andreas.
Hi, Heather.
How are you going?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
Yourself?
Glad to hear it. And you can see Andreas is armed with a number of props all ready to go. Now, we also have with us today Archie, who's just having a little rest on the floor facing the opposite direction, just because he can. Thank you for all your correspondence this week. We love to hear from you, so don't hesitate to get in touch. And today we continue in our Bible talking on how to read the Bible. Well, look, here's one we prepared earlier. Thank you. Excellent pointing. That's wonderful. It's quite big, actually, this Bible, isn't it?
It's a big stick too.
It is. It's a very big stick too. Now, last week we spoke about the different types of writing, the different genres we find in the Bible, and that knowing what type of writing we're reading adds to our understanding of the text. Do you remember some of them, Andreas?
Yes, there are historical writings, there are wisdom writings, there are prophetic writings, there are apocalyptic writings, there are songs, and there are writings that are telling us all about the life of Jesus, and we call those writings good news or Gospels.
That's excellent. Well done. You're obviously listening very carefully last week. Yes, good.
And learning a lot.
That's good.
I hope you're too.
Yes, I am. Today we are Bible talking context. Context refers to the place of the writing in the Bible and in time, place, culture and history. Its place in the Bible, that is, if we find a verse and look at where it is in the Bible, that place is called the internal context, and its place in time, location, culture and history is called the external context. And today we're talking internal context. Now, when we think of the internal context, it helps us to think of an onion cut in half. Now, Andreas doesn't cry when he cuts onions, so he's going to be the onion cutter. I do cry, so I'm going to wear my special protective onion cutting glasses, which were a gift from one of my sisters. Thank you very much.
There you are, onion glasses on. The other thing that needs to be protected is, of course, when working with sharp knives, make sure that they are suitably protected. And I'm going to cut the onion. And just to be absolutely certain and safe, Heather,
yes,
I thought I'd take a photograph of the onion.
Oh, you're not bringing it near me at all?
Look,
oh, I'm so happy to hear that.
That way, you won't need to worry at all about it. There we go. It's a lovely picture coming up. There we are.
Oh, good.
I'll pass you that nice picture now of the onion.
Thank you. Excellent.
And then it's all safe. And I'll take that onion out of the way, and then you can take off your glasses.
That's good. Now what I can do is I can come in closer to the camera here so you can see the onion and the details. Think of a Bible verse as being the very centre of the onion, and then each ring of onion adding extra layers of understanding of context for that verse. The verse is located within a paragraph. The paragraph is part of a chapter and part of the whole book of the Bible. That book may be by an author who has other books and writing in the Bible. That writing is part of a genre. The genre is part of the New or Old Testament, and they are part of the Bible as a whole.
And each of those texts and layers helps us in our understanding of how we should understand the text.
Do you know, Andreas, you've got another helpful prop there which will help us, so let's get that one out too.
Well, there's no need for those protective glasses because the protective glasses are only for onions and not babushkas.
I can take them out. No onion juice comes off babushkas. Excellent. Well, if we think of the biggest babushka doll as the outer layer of context, the Bible as a whole, the littlest doll is the Bible verse. Imagine this biggest babushka doll is the outer layer of context, the Bible as a whole. This littlest doll is the Bible verse. When we look at this little doll, it is very carefully painted, but we see that when we look at the bigger doll, there's so much more detail. The features are much clearer.
So this doll is bigger. It's a bigger context, so there's room for more detail and intricacy.
This little doll has a dot for an eye, But the big one, you can see, has eyelids, pupils, irises, and eyebrows.
And her outfit has all sorts of patterns and details that the little one doesn't. But with the big babushka doll providing us with the context, we can see how the details on the little one can be expanded.
So we can't really look at the eye of this little one and say, I think that's meant to be a snail, because we can see in this bigger context that's actually an eye.
We can't say that her decorative features should be a cow when we clearly, as we work our way through each layer of the context, the increasing size dolls, there's a floral pattern.
When we study the Bible, we need to look at each verse.
But in the bigger context.
So, here are some examples from the Bible. In Philippians 4, verse 13, Paul writes,
I can do all things through him who strengthens me.
Now, we might think that by that verse, God means that he grants us strength to accomplish what we want to do. But the verses around that give a different understanding. If Andreas reads from verse 12,
I know what it is like to have little, and I know what it is to have plenty. In any and all circumstances, I've learnt the secret of being well fed and of going hungry, of having plenty and of being in need. I can do all things through him who strengthens me.
Paul is talking about his experience of gospel ministry, and that whether he is well provided for or not, God enables Paul in his ministry for the gospel.
No matter the circumstances in which Paul finds himself in, and he finds himself in a whole heap of circumstances, God provides the strength to do the gospel work of preaching the word of God as a missionary.
We see this further expanded as we read Paul's writings, as we read of his journeys in Acts.
And when we read of the adventures and the difficulties the other disciples and followers of Jesus have elsewhere in the New Testament, we realize that all Christians need to ask for some of that same strength so that we can also be disciples and speak God's words to those people around us. We know a joke about this verse, don't we, Heather?
We do.
A man was in his kitchen trying to open a brand new jar of pickles, which he couldn't do, and he said out loud, I can do all things through him who strengthens me. And his wife said to him,
It's a pickle jar, Tom. Twist the lid, not the scriptures. Oh, you opened it.
in the strength of him who helps me.
Oh, that's not what we're talking about, Andreas. I think we better stop. All right?
All right, see you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.